Hi everyone, this is Lori from the Crafting Auntie. Welcome back to my channel. I'd like to welcome also any new subscribers that may have joined us. And today I am going to show you how I made this ID tag. I'm currently going to be doing a series, hopefully starting next week, on a journal that I watched and just absolutely loved what she did on Seven Plaza. That's Margaret. She is amazing. She made a Gunther journal. So I've decided that I want to make a journal similar to that. Of course, my take on it. And mine is going to be called Arthur. So I made an Arthur ID tag. And I wanted to come out and show you how I did this. And this will end up going into the journal and other goodies that I'm going to be making along with this. And then along with this ID tag, I also made this ticket. So I'm going to show you how to do both. The ticket's very, very simple because it's just a stamp that I happen to have. And if you don't have the same stamp, you can always create something different or use something in your own stash. It really doesn't matter. So what I decided to do was to make this ID tag that's going to go in this journal, and I wanted it to kind of look like what I thought Arthur would look like. So this is Arthur. I know he's not a real person, but he's named after my grandfather. And so the tag I'm going to make today is going to be for his wife. So this is Rose. And Rose is going to be traveling with Arthur. So she needs an ID tag. So we're going to do that today. So what are some of the things you'll need? I'm using the Tim Holtz craft paper. I'm going to use green today. That is sandable, very distressable. So I'm going to use that. What I use one of the red tones on this one. So I'm going to use green. And then I showed you, of course, this is Rose. And then some of the other things that I've picked out, just some little small pieces, some snippets that come from Tim Holtz, a stamp. This is a real vintage stamp, just a label. I'm not sure what all I'm going to use. I also picked out some stamps that I did use originally. It's hard to see these right now, but as they go on, you'll be able to see them more. I can't link anything about these. I think they probably all came from an AliExpress at some point in time that I may have purchased, which I don't buy from them anymore. So anyway, I've just picked out some that I used originally on Arthur, and I'm going to use these on Rose. I'm also going to do some hardware. So I've got some hardware pieces here. I just used one of these cute tabs. I just love these things, which will alcohol ink. So I'm going to leave that out. And then a tiny key that I want to add to hers. So let's see. Here we go. A small key. And that I just glued onto the top. And I used just a piece of faux leather. So a couple of those pieces. I'm going to be using ground espresso, distress ink. I'm going to be using the sanding disc by Tim Holtz. I've got some blocks for the stamps. I also have my crocodile. We're going to be doing some brads. There's brads on all four corners and also on the ticket. So we'll do those. And I think the first thing I want to do so we can dry is to use my alcohol ink. So here's a bunch of my alcohol inks that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to pick out a darker one that I want to use on the little clip. And I think I want to use, let's see, I don't have too many of the Tim Holtz. I think I want to use the caramel. Let's try that. I think that's what I used on the other one. So the first thing I'm going to do is get a piece of towel over here and put my piece on it, and then just drop my alcohol ink right onto it. So just going to make it vintagey looking. Don't need too much down here because it'll be covered, but I do want it around here. So I'm going to just let this dry, and I'm going to move on to something else just for time's sake, and then I'll turn it over and do the back side. So here's what it looks like so far. So I'm just going to set that aside. Then I'm going to get my paper trimmer, which you'll always also need, and I'm going to cut this piece 3 inches by 5 inches. If you haven't seen or watched any of Seven Plaza with Margaret, she is amazing. I'm also going to grab my corner rounder, and I'm just going to round all 4 corners. Just like that. Okay. So I'm going to use my distressing tool. I have a couple. I'm going to use the sander, and I'm also going to use my little distressing tool that roughs up the edges. I just have to figure out what I did with it. Oh yes, now I remember. I moved things around in here. So if you have one of these, or if you have the Tim Holtz, they're just great for going around the edges. Just roughing it up. A couple other things you'll need. I used for framing in the photo. So for this part here, I used a set of nesting square dies. And I used one for the background. There's a background piece to this photo. And then the photo goes on. And then I also used the same size plus one size smaller to make this frame. So that's what I'm going to be using also on this. And I'll show you those when we get to that. So I'm just going to rough these up. Kind of hard getting around those corners. Do as much as you like. It's all in preference and taste of what you like, how grungy you like it. If you like it really grungy, then do a lot. There we go. Now I'm going to just come in with the sander. So this is the Tim Holtz sander. Just going to go around these edges and the corners and make it as distressed as you like. I'm just going to go over the whole thing. Give it a good distressing. Until you're happy with it. It's pretty good. Let me make this. All right. Clean this off a little bit. Use a towel and clean that off. Move that over to the side. Okay, so now I'm using ground espresso, Distress ink, Tim Holtz Rangers, and I'm going to go around all the edges. And again, this is a preference, with however much distressing you like. And then I am going to do just a little bit over the top. Just about like that. Okay. So I think the next thing I want to do is I want to work on this. So what I used is a set of nesting dies. I believe I got these on Amazon. But they're just a set of nesting ones in square. And I believe I used, let me just double check. I think I used this one for the background. And this is just the back piece that the picture will go onto. And of course this picture will be cut down. So I used this one, and then for the frame I just used 2 of these together. And then that made the frame. And so here's my frame. And what I am going to do is, I haven't cut the back piece yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm just using just a piece of craft color cardstock. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut the larger piece out of this. So I will be right back. So the size that this ends up being is, it's about just about 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. So what I'm going to do is cut this photo down to fit onto this, and then this frame will come over the top, basically just like this. So I don't want really any of the white showing. So I'm going to cut this down, leaving that black. And then of course I'll be distressing it up. So let's do this on the sides first. And then, that's perfect because I want a little border. And so I'm going to cut this, oops, this here, and I'll take off this. So let's see how we did. Not bad. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do is also rough up the edges on this photo, make it look more distressed, old. I think my little tool's getting dull. Keep switching around, make sure I'm using some of the good ones that are still sharp enough. Excuse my phone, it always rings. Okay. And then I'm just going to kind of crumple it up a little bit, just to give it that really old vintagey look. Then I'm going to go ahead and distress around it. So that is done. And I'm also going to distress around, you won't see this, but I do want the edges still distressed. And I am going to use my little tool carefully to kind of roughen this up. It's a little harder to do, but maybe it's better if I use this. Let's just use the sanding disc. Yeah, that's much better. Small items like this, I think the disc is much better. And just be careful when you're sanding it. And again, get it any way you like. And then I am going to go over it with ground espresso, give it some vintage look. Just like this. And also on the inside. Like that. Get it as vintagey as you like. Okay. So now we've got our frame together. I'm going to go ahead and just put this together, but before I do that, I want to stamp a little bit here on these sides, just so that something is showing through. So I have this stamp, and again, it's probably an AliExpress. I'm not really sure, but kind of looks like a ledger. See if I have it the right way. It's kind of hard to tell which is the right way. I'm just going to add just a little bit of stamping on the side. Just a little bit, not a lot. just so that something is kind of peeking through. That's better. Okay. And I am using archival ink. Okay, so we've got something on there now, so it's not just blank. So that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and glue her down. I'm using art glitter glue for this. I like it because it holds up. Then we're just going to position her. Just like that. And then glue the frame on top. And if you want to put in a piece of acetate, you surely can. I decided not to. I just wanted to have the picture as it was. And you can see, you don't see that much of the side, but at least it's not completely blank. So stamping it, it was probably, yeah, it's okay. It works. I'm just going to trim a little bit of this off and re-ink it. Okay, Rose is ready. She's all ready to go on her ID tag. Very cool. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is go ahead and stamp the background. So I just use various stamps. I did use this stamp that we just used. So I'm going to go ahead and just use that on the side areas. Like so. And then I used a portion of this one. Again, this is another one I can't link for you or tell you where I got it. But I just want to use these lines. I don't have anything that just gives me just straight lines, so I'm having a hard time seeing this. So I just want the lines. So I'm just going to ink those. And I'm going to just add those here. Perfect. That's what I wanted. And then I've got this one that says destination on it. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on here, the bottom. And then I want to just double check where she's going to go so I know where else to stamp. Okay, so let's see here. She needs a number. And I have a bunch of Tim Holtz stamps. Grab my binder here that I keep them in. So this is how I keep my stamps, in a binder. It's kind of hard to see. I've zoomed in too much. But I'm going to look for a number stamp. So something that'll go along in here that'll be like her ID number. So let's see. Let me zoom out just a tad so you can kind of see my binder. There we go. So this is my binder, and this is clear acetate. And I followed 49 Dragonflies on Miss Barbara. She was amazing. I loved what she did. So I decided to do the same thing. I couldn't get the acetate as thick as hers, but it's working out okay for me. So let's see, she needs to have a number. Let's use this. So she's going to be 38751. I'm going to stamp her number right here. Perfect. And now we need a date. So I have, let me move this out of the way. I may come back to it. We'll see if I need to. And I have these stamps. These are from Kathy Holden, and I want to use one of these. Zoom it back in. There we go. So let's pick out a signature. And on this one, I did the signature this way, but I don't think I have enough room, so I'm going to squeeze it in here. And it could be different, right? So let's see. I don't want a real long one. Let's use this one. I'm not sure exactly what they say, but okay. I don't think it really matters. N.E. Saiksana. Okay, that works for me. Put that there. And then let's see, what else do we have here that we can use? So we've got a signature. We need something. Let's use this. Use this little round one. Put something right here. And I also want to do this on corners of her. So I'm going to do one here and here. Perfect. Okay. So we got that. Now let's see. Got some other stamps here. I think I want to put, let's see, where is she going to be now? Oh, this isn't glued down very good. Let me fix this while we're thinking of it. I think it was where I trimmed it. Some of the glue came off with it. There we go. Much better. Much better. Okay, so let me bring her back here. That's what I needed her for. I need to put something down here. So how about an address? Let's see. So, these are Sam Poole stamps. Creative Expressions. They are awesome. Let's see. Not really address. Oh, here. That one's kind of long. Maybe we just, oh, let's add Paris. Let's put Paris somewhere. Let's see. Let's do Paris here. So that takes care of that. And then let's do, let's see, I think it's on this stamp set. Yes, I want to do approved. So she's approved. And let's do that here. And let's see. Addresses are a little long. Let's just do a fun date. Let's see. How about this one? So, not sure what it says. Let's see. Okay, 1925. Whatever else it says. We got 1925. And that works. So let's put her back up here. It looks like we can do something else here. So let's see. Let's see. What else can we put on there? Maybe just number. Let's just put another number. We've got this 40844. Whatever that means. Oops. Put that there. All right. So that's our stamping. Let's see, what else did we put on this guy? I think we have a number up here too. So let's add a different number. Let's see. Let's just use 9190. It's like a good number. Do it right side up. And we'll stick that right here. And she is set. Okay. What else? Okay, and then it looks like I'm just going to go ahead and do, let's see if I have all the numbers that I want on here. I think something needs to go up here. So let's just use this big stamp again. And let's just do a little bit over the top. Just so that it's not blank. Just a little something right there. There we go. Okay. So it'll look like this. Coming along nicely. Coming along nicely. So now I'm going to do a little bit of collaging here. And I've picked out some pieces. So let's get these over here in the kind of little green tones with label. And I'm going to go ahead and distress these. Let's close up this archival ink. Move it aside. And distress these small pieces. And I also want to stamp my ticket. So I want to get that done. So let's see. Not sure how much of this I'm going to use. And I want to stamp on this. That's a sticker. Didn't have anything in the green and Tim Holtz. So I thought, okay. Grab a sticker. I have all these stickers and stuff that I don't use all the time. And it's like I'm trying to use my products more. Whatever it is I have. Trying to use them more. So let's see. If I put this here, maybe we just do a little, or maybe, no, that's too big. Let's just do a little stamp across this. Just a, let's see. How about just this? Let's try this. See what that does. Archival ink again. No, 16313 works for me. I'm just going to go across this way. Perfect. Just to have a little something on it. Just like that. And then I'm just going to trim this because I don't need this whole thing. And this is a sticker. So now it's just getting it apart. Some of them are so good and others are easier. I always feel like I'm fumbling. Okay, I got it. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more glue to this. I don't like things coming off, so we're just going to add a little bit of glue, and then we'll place it here and whoops, flip it over. Rose hit the floor. Okay. All right. I think before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and add my 4 eyelets. So here's my eyelet container. Whoops. Eyelets and brads. Helps us if it's right side up. I'm going to go ahead and use the gold. So I need 4. Perfect. And Crop-A-Dile. Use the large hole. So I'm going to go ahead and do this in all 4 corners. Here, I'm just eyeballing it. And there. Then some of these just a little tighter. Okay. And I think I'm on a good setting. So let me go ahead and put these all 4 on. Touch 2. Really makes the ID tag adding this metal hardware to it. I think, anyway. Just 3 and 4. Okay, so we've got that done. Now let's do a little bit of this collaging stuff that I have here. I also have this stamp. So she goes here. Let's put some of these pieces. Oops. Underneath. And let's see. This glue off my fingers. Put that there. I happen to have the same one that looked like it would be an address for him and for her. So she's going to go right about there. I'm going to move this over just a tad. I want to make sure she clears the the eyelets. So let's do that there. There we go. And the stamp. I have a whole collection of stamps that I have collected off of Etsy. If you're ever looking for stamps, there's a lot of different stores out there. I buy from Aardvark, but you can buy from various others that have stamps. Postage stamps is what I'm talking about. So let's put that there, and then maybe this round one. Like this. Okay. Do I need anything else? Let's put that one there. May as well use them. Okay. And now we can put her on. Okay. Perfect. Let that dry a little bit. And while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the ticket. So I'm using this one. When I stamp it, you can see it. And I'm going to use the ground espresso. It's a first class ticket. Okay, so hopefully this will be okay. It's kind of out of view here. Let me move it up. First class Durham to Lancaster. This ticket entitles the bearer to one first class passage to Lancaster. Okay. So I'm going to cut this out. I'm not going to cut all those little wiggly things because I'm going to end up distressing it anyway. Okay. She's got to have her ticket too, just like Arthur. So Arthur and Rose are going on a trip. Whoops. Okay. All right. Distress the edges. Perfect. And we're going to add an eyelet as well. So we'll get another one of these. My crocodile. Perfect. All right. Then I use just a small piece of faux leather. And I tucked it in. Just like that. And then all I did was use this straight. Use my tiny attacher from Tim Holtz and just attach it here. And there, oops, that one didn't come out too good. I think I was, because I was on the other one. So let's do this up to the side. There we go. So tiny attacher, and I'm just going to cut that. And then I have a small key that I will just glue on there. Oops. And we'll just set this off to dry. So just put this right across there. And then I'm just going to set it aside and let that dry. So there's the ticket. Okay. Now we have alcohol inked our little metal tab up here on one side. So I'm going to flip it over. Should be dry. And let's do the other side and let that dry a little bit. Just like that. Take off any excess. Perfect. Gives it a cool look. All right. The other thing I have is we have a tab. So I'm going to go ahead and I have this little box of reinforcements, tabs, and tiny tags. So sat here not too long ago cutting a bunch of these out. These are from Chapter 3, Tim Holtz. Some of these others I think are Elizabeth design. There's some tiny tags and mostly whole reinforcements. Yeah. So I cut a bunch of those out just to have on hand. So I'm going to just dress this up. Both sides. Okay. And let's just stamp something on it. His has 1917 registered with a number. Let's just pick something off of this or this. I couldn't find which one I used before. So I think I just need something small. Let's just use this date. Let's just put that on. Maybe that'll work. Let's see. Just add this date to it. Perfect. Okay. And we'll just put that right here. Just like that. So I'm going to glue that on. Put that right about there. And then we're down to our little metal tab. So I'm going to dry this quickly. Make sure it's completely dry. Well, my tool is not working at the moment. I may not have it plugged in correctly, but I think we're dry. Seems like it's dry. Now these are a little bit too large, so they're a little bit too much play in them. So all I did was take a piece of paper. Let's just take a little piece of paper. And then I folded it. Just like so. So that, let's see, I think that's too thick. Let's just take one sheet. Tuck that in here and then tuck it on, and it holds it on there good. So there's the ID tag finished. And here's her ticket. Actually, that's his ticket. Here's her ticket. She's ready to go. So I hope you like this video. I plan on continuing with Arthur and the journal. So I'm hoping next week to start a series on that. If you want to join me, just be making different projects to go into it as we prepare the journal. And so if you want to come alongside me, that'd be great. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and turn the bell on if you want to see other videos of mine. And hopefully you'll give this a try. I would love to see your projects if you do it. And I am on Instagram, Crafting Auntie there, not the Crafting Auntie, but I link it below. So if you ever want to share what you have created from one of my videos, I would love to see them. And until the next time, you guys all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.